Hey everyone. I'm just starting up a bit early just to make sure that I've got the audio and everything correct. And yeah, we're back on StreamYard today, so I'm giving it another try. Today I want to experiment with the share component. So if we get onto a topic, we can look it up and have a look at some pictures and stuff. So it's not just my face the whole time, which I think could be cool. But we've got heaps of people in already, which is kind of cool. Some people talking about. But yeah, I guess I'll just start. I'll start talking, and then we'll get into some questions. So I was just editing a video, and I noticed that I didn't want to keep editing it for now, and I thought I hadn't done a live for a little bit, so I just spontaneously decided we'd go live, and we'll just answer some questions and have a chat to you guys, because I don't really get to talk to you guys live much. Most of the time it's just in the comments, and I find that we can't, the good thing about the live streams is we can really, it sounds really cliche and cringe, but we can form like a connection with each other, and you guys can actually speak to me live, and I can figure out what you guys want and everything like that, if that makes sense. So I think it's a really good way for us to just, learn stuff from each other, but also, just connect. And I don't know. I think it makes sense. I don't know. It sounds really cringe, I guess. But today I guess we'll just talk about. We'll just answer some questions. I see some people have some questions. So if I can't answer your question, don't spam it. I mean, hopefully some of my mods rock up, but because I do these things spontaneously, I kind of have to moderate them myself. So if you start spamming or doing anything like that, unfortunately, I will have to block you. There's no second chances. I don't really care that much. If you're going to spam, I don't really want you on the live stream. That's the problem that we've had in a couple of old ones. So maybe just don't do that. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. And if I miss your question, you can re-ask it, but don't re-ask it 10 times in a row. Spam it, because I'm not going to answer it then. And I'm also not going to answer questions that I think you could just Google search, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but most of the time, a lot of people have already answered the question, and it's easier for me to answer something else that's maybe a little bit more interesting. So not trying to be cutting or anything like that. I think we just need to in this stream, I want to target questions that I think are interesting. And I can't answer every single question nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of people in these streams now, a lot more than there used to be. And it seems to be just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it does get a little bit tricky to answer everything. But thank you everyone who's already joined. I can see some really familiar names already. And I'm going to go through and start answering some questions. So first of all, thanks Greg for becoming a member of the channel. I want to quickly apologize to all the members. I mean, I know a lot of you guys don't actually expect much. I expect a lot for the members, and I want to make a lot more member content, but I've been insanely busy lately just with the fish room and things like that. And my main priorities for my life at the moment in regards to the fish business is, first of all, I always put the fish first, and then I do YouTube, and then I guess everything else comes after that. So if I don't have enough time, because I'm occupied with those two things, which are the most important for me, then the other ones kind of fall behind. So I mean, I haven't been making as much member content as I should, but I really do appreciate the extra couple of bucks that everyone gives. It really goes a long way, and I always reinvest the money back into the channel. And but I guess we can start answering some questions. I've seen, there was one. Hey Nick, just wondering what to do when my male discus pair, my male in my discus pair is being a bit aggressive to the female. Thanks in advance. So I've had this with my flora pair, and this is actually a really good way to start the stream. So as you guys might have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, I definitely recommend it. I don't post enough on there either, but I do post stuff on occasion on my stories. So if you want to see things that I've been working on, or things that are likely to come up in future videos, you might want to go and follow me on there. But on there, I posted yesterday, I've got some little discus fry, and I've got about 50 to 60 of them. And they're actually growing really well now, and I'm sure that I'm going to get them up to adult size and sell those guys. And those are my floras, and they're from my flora pair. Now, my fluoropair has been really hot and cold, and they've been really iffy, and it's been tricky trying to figure out how to breed them properly. And I've had one successful batch, and I'm actually, so what was happening was I had the pair raise them up, and I had attached them, like the fry had started free swimming and had attached to the parents, but I noticed the male was getting really aggressive with the female, and she was actually getting, like, not badly injured, but I noticed that her eye was getting picked at quite a bit by him, and there was no like permanent problems, but I knew that if I left them there, that they'd either end up getting stressed out and eating the fry, or she'd get beaten up really badly. And what I decided to do there was, because the fry were attached, I decided to just take the male out and put him in a separate tank. And she took care of the fry, raised them up for the next couple of, I think it was only about 2 weeks. And then I took the fry out and introduced the male again. And then we obviously had some more bickering. They bickered for a couple of days, and then they ended up having a spawn, but I noticed he was still being a real jerk and, hitting her on the side. And so that's when I decided to take him out. But at that point, the eggs hadn't even hatched. So I just had the female in there taking care of the eggs. And everything's been smooth sailing until this morning, where I came into the fish room and I noticed that the fry had become free swimming, but she was having a very hard time corralling all those fry and getting them to attach. So my theory is, I'm just going to play it out. Hopefully I go back this afternoon and I have a look and they've all attached and nothing's gone wrong, but there was fry all over the tank. And my theory is that you have one discus and the other one goes and collects all of them and puts them around the one, like the female and the male. So be it, doesn't matter. And I think with the one discus, it's been a bit of a challenge for her to go and collect all those fry. So she's got some of them, but not all of them. And if she doesn't get all of them, then we're not going to have a successful spawn. We'll only have like a few discus, which would be very annoying. They're a lot of effort to breed, and you want to be getting at least 50 fry, I reckon, per spawn. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I think with the next spawn, what I might do is just let them bicker, and hopefully they can get them up to attaching, and then maybe just do the same thing and separate them again, or hopefully just leave them. That's what I'd ideally like to do. But, sometimes I think that maybe, like, in the future, I'm planning to breed a few more discus. And I think in the future, my plan's going to be to try and pair off discus myself. I feel like maybe buying pairs of discus isn't the best method. I feel like you get them when they're not at their peak. And even if they are at their peak, I think just the moving kind of wigs them out a little bit and they get a bit confused. So I think that's probably going to be the best thing for me to grow out some discus and pair them off myself and, rotate the pairs that way. I think I'll get a lot more eggs and, young fish breed a lot more, and they're probably going to breed better quality once they figure out how to do it. So that's just my opinion, and that's something that I'm going to be doing in the future. I'm actually looking at getting quite a few more sub-adult discus, so like 8 to 10 centimeter size, growing them out for a couple of months and letting them pair off and seeing if I can't get some more success that way. I'd really like to learn discus because, they're a great profit fish, but I also really enjoy taking care of them. And they're one of the most satisfying fish to breed, in my opinion. So, yeah, I guess it was a long-winded question, but that's what I've been working on with my discus. And what I'd recommend is to, if your male's being aggressive, separate them out, or you can put a divider in there. But I feel like just the separation's enough. And, yeah, I don't know. That's what I would do, but I'll keep trying to go through and answer some more questions. How do you go about with the pricing of your fish for your local aquariums? Do you set the price, or is it that you both come to a certain agreement? So I guess with any transaction, it's when both parties come to a certain agreement, because one party has to buy it, one party has to accept a price for it. The general rule of thumb, I think, for local fish stores is most of the time a shop, depending on like the price of a fish, so like mid-price fish compared to, mid to high price fish compared to low price fish, they're going to want to make a certain amount of profit. Because, like, for instance, on a fish that's going to cost $1 to $4, they're probably going to want to like at least triple their money. But on a fish that costs $10, they might just only want to double their money. So normally I'd go by trying to get, like, if you've got a good reputation with the store, you can probably go like half the price that they retail them for, depending. Like if you have guppies and they only sell them for $4, you're probably only going to get $1. But if they have, for instance, like panda cories, which could sell for $12, you might get $5 to $4, if that makes sense. So I always just go under half, depending on what type of fish it is. Like if it's a fish that's going to cost a couple $100, then I'll do half. But if it's going to be like something under that, I'll go just under half. And that's what I normally go by. And if they say it's too much, then you might have to renegotiate and come down to a lesser amount. But I normally would say if you want to get your foot in the door, just go at a quarter. And then after that, you can slowly boost your price up once you've gained the reliability. How far are your stir-by cories off for sale? So I actually have hundreds of cories growing out at the moment, and I've been selling some to the shops. But for a lot of people who don't know already, sorry for the camera, it's doing some weird focusing stuff. I need to get a new one. For all the guys who don't know, recently I've just taken a break from shipping out any fish. It was becoming so much of a burden on, like, you know, I'd have a weekend and then I'd have to ship fish out on a Monday. And I guess I was talking about this I was on Lazarus' stream a couple of days ago, and that was really cool. But on that stream, I was talking about this whole circumstance. And I think a lot of people think because, you know, the channel's getting quite big now, and it seems like there's a lot going on behind the scenes, that I've got like people who help me and things like that. And I'll just be honest and say that at the moment, like obviously it's not going to stay like this forever, but at the moment, while I'm still not quite earning enough to pay for someone else to come and help me or upgrade my facility, I'm running everything. So like if you send an email, it's me answering it. If you post a comment, it's me answering it. I edit all the videos. I record them all. I breed all the fish. I clean all the tanks. So I'm wearing a lot of hats, and it kind of, like, at the start when I opened the website, it was really exciting. And I honestly appreciate everyone who's placed an order. Like it helps tremendously with the channel. But we're only getting like a few orders, and on a Monday it was really bearable because like there'd only be a few bags of fish to put in. And another thing is too, I actually don't box the fish at the fish room. I have to bag the fish at the fish room, make sure I haven't forgotten anything, bring them home, box them up here, and then take them to the post office. So to get that all done before 4 o'clock with like 25 boxes of fish just became an absolute nightmare. And it was way too stressful, way too hard, and I was doing it all myself. And the thing is too, you spend a whole day boxing fish, you don't actually do any of your jobs with the with the fish room, so you fall behind on all that stuff. And I just decided to turn off the store for a while. So I'm not accepting any orders until I can find a decent way to take care of the fish and ship out the fish. I think what's likely going to happen, and I've talked about this in the past, is I'm going to set a minimum order quantity. And for all the people, I mean, it's going to be quite a high minimum order quantity, and not because I'm greedy or anything like that. It's not about that at all. It's about, I mean, it's going to be only for the people who really want stuff, because like the amount of effort it was taking, even though I appreciate the orders, like some people would order like 2 cories, and, you know, for all the stress of shipping them and everything like that, it just wasn't really worth it. And it would just add another box that I have to tape up and everything like that. Like if I'm only shipping 4 to 5 boxes, then that's definitely bearable. But, you know, 25 boxes was just way too much. And yeah. So just wondering why you removed the Sapphire Angels off your shop list. Did they die? Did you give up? And did you plan to put them back anytime soon? So I discontinued a lot of angels. I only have 1 pair of angels at the moment. And it was just because the angels are really, really like a good turnover fish, like I was saying in my recent video. But part of the problem with the angels is that in my fish room, at least, I don't have enough space to grow out a lot of fry. And growing them out, it's a bit of a challenge. So I was breeding way too many pairs of angels for my facility, and I just had way too many. You don't get a lot of money for them, at least in my area, you don't. And I wasn't able, it wasn't really like viable So I've only gone with a gold marble pearl scale angel pair, and I'm on occasion going to take out eggs just to sell those to the stores. I don't plan on selling any of those wholesale, and I'll sell a few on the website. But I can guarantee in the next fish room I will be doing more angels once I can, reliably do it and do it properly. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't have those anymore. Thanks, T-Bone Fishies, for the $5 super sticker. I really do appreciate that. You should limit available quantities and increase minimums on the website so you don't get overwhelmed. Yes, that's the plan. So I think that there's only going to be you have to order for instance, I'm not going to sell one fish. It'll be you can only buy a group of 5, and then that way it'll be a little bit more, it'll make a bit more sense. And then the other thing too is, the minimum order quantity is probably going to come into play. And I reckon it's only going to be for maybe another week or 2 before I get the website back up and running. It's just that I needed a break. A lot of you guys would understand that if you have a weekend, even though I work every day, I still do enjoy my weekend because all my friends are, they have the weekend off, so I can hang out with all my friends and things like that. And then after the weekend, you got to wake up and ship out 25 boxes of fish and be really stressed. It wasn't too nice. So if I can get it back down to an easy number and something that's bearable until I get into a proper facility and I can pay someone to help me box them, it's going to be that. Here, one second. My dog keeps banging on the door. Come on. Oh, it's my dog Scruffy. So she's the other day we were making a beef heart mix for the Discus, and the dogs absolutely love it when I make the beef heart mix because obviously they get all the offcuts. So most of the time when it's just me at home during the day, Scruffy comes up and chills out with me while I edit videos or while I make these live streams or reply to comments and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess we'll keep answering some questions. Love the mustache. Thank you. I don't know how long I'll keep it for. I've just kind of started growing it, and she's rolling all over the floor. Hey. I decided that I'd keep it, and I don't know how long I'll keep it for. I was getting a lot of comments for a while about how bad it looked, but I don't know. I don't really care that much. Hey, would you ever consider breeding species of fish that are more aggressive or don't typically live in a planted tank like cichlids, for example? Yes, I definitely would consider it. I think that part of the reason I haven't is, first of all, I haven't really taken much of an interest in it. I mean, a lot of big cichlids don't, for some reason, they just don't appeal to me. So you probably won't see me breeding things like big South American cichlids. But I think one of the things that I definitely want to do in the future is I want to get into biches. I find those guys so cool. I'd love to breed them. And I think once I get a little bit more space, I definitely will be doing that. Love your vids. Just wanted to ask about some tips on breeding common Bristlenose Plecos, as mine have just started spawning as we speak. So I guess I've talked about common Bristlenose a lot. I breed thousands of them. And I guess there's not really a lot of tips I can give. They're very, very easy to breed. All you need is mature male and female. And you just want to plump those guys up with some really good foods like zucchini or green beans. Those are my 2 favorites. You can use things like rapashi. She's trying to jump up on the bed. Come on. You're a little bit annoying. That's what I'd use, and fatten them up. You can trigger them with water changes and stuff like that, but it's definitely not necessary at all, I don't think. And just be patient. The male's going to take care of the eggs and everything like that. It's super easy to do. And yeah. There's a good question that I wanted to answer. Can I do this? Sorry, I'm really a boomer when it comes to all this stuff. I'm not good with technology, even though I'm a young guy. So This is a good question because today I finally got a TDS pen, and I know that it seems really lazy of me to not have a TDS pen when I've had a whole fish room for almost a year now. But I finally got a TDS pen because I've been really trying to think about how to breed certain things and really get successful with a lot of things as I've narrowed down into what I want to breed. So my TDS pen rocked up today, and I've known the GH and KH in my water, but there's obviously different things in the water. And yeah, you'd be right that most of my fish are softwater fish. They're pretty much all softwater fish, actually. There's nothing there that would be great hard water except for maybe some guppies, which I'm not going to continue keeping. So I did a tap water test, and it turns out my tap water's got a parts per million of like 400, which is insanely high. But then I use a lot of RO water mixing with some of my tanks, especially the breeding tanks. So the 400 parts per million is okay in some of the grow out tanks because obviously the fish need all those nutrients in the water, or nutrients, chemicals, whatever, to grow and form their skeletons and grow up well. But obviously the fish need really soft water to breed if they are soft water fish. And my water has quite a low pH and is quite soft, like there's no KH in the water. But obviously there's something else in the water, and I found that out today. But yeah, I do mostly have soft water things. But yeah, it was pretty interesting going around the tanks and doing some TDS measuring, because it's good to know that my RO water is actually completely RO. There's no minerals in there. Like the TDS in the water in there was like 18. So maybe that means I need to do like a filter change. And then in the, for instance, like I just picked up some really cool epistos, which you guys will see in a future video. I picked up some Epistogramma Agassizii Fire Golds that I want to breed. So they're on like 150, which I'm going to bring down even more. And yeah, like my Rams are at 150 and they're doing well. And yeah, so that was pretty cool to play with. I saw one before that I wanted to answer. T-Bone Fishy, thanks for becoming a member. Welcome to the family, I guess. Where was the question? Gotta find it. Where'd it go? Damn it, I missed it. One sec. Oh, here. When do you plan on expanding your fish room, and what are your future plans? So, yeah, I put this here. There you go, getting really high tech now. So I guess I've talked about this in the last live stream, and I think it's been something in the back of my mind. Well, like not even in the back. It's been like something I'm really eager to do. I've only been in my fish room for a little bit, and I'm really fortunate to have in the short time had quite a lot of success. Like all my plans have started to really come to fruition, and a lot of stuff's happened in a really short period of time. And I think I'm going to expand in the future, probably sooner than I think. Like I've obviously thought about expanding like now, but I don't think it makes sense at the moment. It's probably still going to be a little bit away. I think my plan's not to go like full. Yeah, what this can't keep doing this. My plans. Yeah, sorry for the autofocus stuff. My plans not to go like full fish farm, like have a crazy expensive setup or anything like that. I think that I'm going to do something similar to what I've got now, but if you added some elements of a fish farm, so like some big tubs to grow out stuff, and more efficient ways of having employees help bag fish, take care of tanks and stuff like that. And I think another thing too that I'd like to do that's obviously a real challenge when keeping fish is not that I don't want the responsibility, but I'd like to be able to step away from it for maybe a week or 2 weeks at a time, so that I do have the freedom to go and travel overseas if I wanted to, or something like that. And I think if I can find a way to do that, it probably would have to involve stopping the breeding, but just having someone take care of the brood stock until I get back, and then get back into the breeding. I think that's what the new fish room is going to look like. In terms of size, I think it'd only probably be like maybe 4 times bigger than the current one. maybe a little bit more. And I'm also thinking about probably keeping the current fish room and using it for really low maintenance species like bristlenose and shrimp, and only visiting it every couple of days to change out zucchinis and turn on the water change system. And yeah, I mean, I think that that's something that could be achievable. And, you know, yeah, okay, this camera's got to stop doing this. But yeah, I think that's probably the future plans. And another thing too is that I don't want to drop off making YouTube videos. Like, it's still like making YouTube videos takes quite a bit of effort. And I don't want to, while I'm building a fish room and taking care of a fish room, also give up making YouTube videos, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to be a much longer build, and it's going to take quite a long period of time to do. Because I've got to keep so many balls up in the air. Like, I need to keep making money from this current fish room. But yeah, I think maybe, I mean, hopefully, you know, it's amazing to think back like a year ago that I was only starting to build the fish room. So I don't know where I'll be in a year, but yeah. My tap water is 50 TDS. For raising young, do you think I need to add anything to raise it? Personally, I don't think you need to. It depends what kind of fish you're raising. Like, if you've got guppies and stuff like that, you definitely need to. But most fish will be all right in that. Like, you could add some crushed coral to the water to boost the KH, and that would help out some fish. But it's all depending on what type of fish you have. So, yeah. Let me find another question. What is GH and KH? I don't know what that is. So GH and KH are like the two. Okay, first of all, before I sound like an idiot, I'm not a scientist. This is just what I know about GH and KH and what I think you need to know. And I don't know everything about GH and KH. So I'm probably going to butcher some stuff here, but GH and KH is general hardness and carbonate hardness in the water. So in the water, you'll have a bunch of minerals dissolved into it. Like, if you get a cup of water and you add salt to it and the salt disappears, now that's dissolved into the water. And, you know, you can't just do that. Like, you can do that with a bunch of other things like carbonate hardness and general hardness. And they're two really good ways of measuring the amount of mineral in your water. So, for instance, we have different types of fish across the whole hobby. We have fish that live in areas with really mineral-rich water. So in Africa, we have African cichlids that live in, I think, like, they're in huge lakes that have tons of rock, and the water doesn't really get a lot of flow. So the amount of mineral in that water is really high. But then if you have fish from the Amazon River, then there's, like, you know, not much mineral going into that water, and the water's quite soft, and the water's always, you know, flooding, and you know, there's wood taking water mineral out of the water and stuff like that. So it's a really good way to know. You don't need to monitor it like fastidiously. I think that you need to just know what your tap water is and the relative like GH and KH of the tank that you have, and try and keep that in for the species that you got. So, like, if you have fish from the Amazon, you don't want really hard water, and vice versa. But yeah, you can just get like a really simple GH and KH test kit, or I mean, you can even use a TDS pen. That's not as good of a measurement. The TDS is helpful, but if you know all three of those things, it'll help you quite a lot. We got lots of comments on the stash. Yeah, I know. I'm feeling like I should just keep it because it's helping out with the comments. A lot of people are commenting on it now. But yeah, we'll keep answering questions. My Bristlenose are always fighting any reason why. They're juveniles, one albino and the other black. So they're probably just fighting over the like who gets, like, it's just basically a turf war. Who gets what cave? Who gets what female? And I wouldn't worry about it too much. Bristlenoses don't really kill each other. The only way I've seen bristlenose kill each other is if a male traps a female in a cave and she doesn't lay eggs. But that's really rare with bristlenose. Do I have cichlids? I do have cichlids. I don't have African cichlids. I only have American. And I have angelfish, rams, and I have yeah, wait. I have angelfish. Yeah, one sec. Angelfish, rams, and I just got some apistos. And what else do I have? I think that's pretty much it. And yeah. Did you stop breeding betters? Yeah, so at the moment I haven't got any betters growing out. Or I actually have one batch of betters growing out, but I sold a ton of betters to a wholesaler. I got rid of them all because I needed some space in the tanks. And I learned a lot from breeding betters. First thing that I can recommend to a lot of people is probably not to breed koi betters. The reasons why is that I'm under the impression that a lot of the farms overseas that supply koi betters to, or like a lot of the betters to Australia, they give us a lot of the duds and they keep a lot of the good stuff for other countries, at least for Australia. But they also don't sell any of the ones with really good genetics. So they breed them, and the ones that have really good pure genetics don't really get it here. Well, they don't come, like, you can't buy those in the shop really easily. So the ones that I bought and bred, I think had pretty poor genetics for at least color. And I didn't get a lot of really high quality fish. I only got a lot of mediocre fish. And I think that I could have got a lot of high quality fish if I'd bred some fish with better genes for making color. The other thing too is koi betters take ages to color up, and you're going to spend a long time changing cups of water and, cleaning out aquariums and jarring fish and stuff like that. They take a lot of effort, and you got to wait a long time before they look really amazing. So I think that was kind of annoying about the koi betters. Like, even though I like them a lot, getting them to color up was really, really tricky. So I guess I am going to breed betters again in the future. I think I'm just going to do like one batch twice a year or something like that. And I think in the future, my plan's to breed Dumbo betters. I'm still looking for some really high quality ones to try and breed here, because at least then that way, they'll still look good young. They're not going to take ages to color up. And I think they're going to be a really good option. But I have, for the most part, stopped breeding betters. Like a lot of people, I had questions on my recent video. I was talking about my top 7 fish for breeding for profit, and it was just my opinion. And a lot of people thought I'd add, betters. They were all asking, where are the betters? And I didn't add them because I don't think that they're actually that great for profit. I just, I don't think that a lot of people know how much work betters can be. And I think there's a lot of things that I'd rather breed for profit if I was just focusing on making money than betters, if that makes sense. So yeah, I will be doing them. I'll be doing the heaps more videos on them. But yeah, for the most part, at the moment, I'm not doing betters until I find some really good Dumbo ones. So yeah, I loved your Halloween picture from years ago. That wasn't even a Halloween picture. That was I got a discount at a fish store. Here, wait, I can probably find that. Here we go. I'll look it up. I'll see if I can do some really cool stuff. So we're talking about this photo that I posted here. This photo that I posted of me at a fish store when I was 14 in this weird costume thing. Here, wait one sec. It was in a dress. Here it is. So if I do this, excuse me being a boomer with all this stuff. Chrome tab. It's the one I want to share. So This is the photo that we're talking about. So this one, so the story behind this photo was this was back when I really started getting into the fish. So I got into the fish when I was 13. I think I was 14 or no, I would have been 13 in this photo. And over here we have a holiday for the Queen's birthday because in Australia, I think we are part of the Commonwealth. So the Queen's important to Australia. I don't think it's actually that important, but there's a holiday for it anyways. And the fish store, for a bit of fun, was saying if you dressed up like the Queen, you could get 20% off. So I dressed up like the Queen, and that's how I got my discount. And so that's why I had that photo there, but not from Halloween. I just got a discount for it, and yeah. How did I get into the hobby? You've probably answered this question many times. I have, but it's okay. And so I hope you won't get offended. Just never heard it before. So I'll just tell a story really quickly because I've talked about it before. But basically, caught fish in a creek when I moved to a new house, and then got fascinated by the fish. I watched a few YouTube videos, decided I was going to get guppies, and then got a tank with guppies, and then just kind of took off from there. But yeah. That's how it started. I wish I could answer this question well, but I can't, unfortunately. So the question is, any tips on keeping hillstream, loach, eggs / fry? They disappear from my tank after about a week with the parents still in the tank. So my first thing is that I think that they might not have disappeared. I think they could just be hiding. If they have disappeared, I don't know why. Maybe they're climbing out of the tanks. But the other thing too that I was going to say is that I haven't kept hillstream loaches yet. I only have kept the Borneo suckers, and those things were they were really fun to keep. I actually have moved those on because I wasn't having success breeding them. They were really hard to breed. I figured out that the reason I couldn't find hillstream loaches is because they can't be imported into the country, which is a common problem that I have here in Australia. But I think eventually we will find some. Hillstream loaches here are very expensive, so like they can be like probably $50 each, I think. So once I do find some, I will get them and I'll breed them, hopefully. And I'll make some videos on that. But I think if you can't find them, maybe next time catch them out when you see them and put them in a container yourself. But they could be climbing out of the tank. They're known to do that. If you have like a rimless tank, they can climb out and dry out on the floor. They could be getting eaten by the parents. I'm not too sure. I don't think that's likely. Or they could just be really hiding in your tank. Well, but yeah. Getting sucked up into the power head, that could be a probability. Do I have super red? Yes, I do have some super red bristlenose. What's my favorite displayable fish? Good question. I think that displayable probably L46. That's my common answer. That's like my favorite fish for everything. I think if I was only able to keep one fish ever, I'd keep the zebra pleco. Like that's something that I've wanted to keep for a very long time, and I'm super, super happy that I have it now. And I'm really keen on trying to get those guys to breed in about 1.5 years time. And that's probably what I'd do. Let's see if we can get some more questions. My Plecos rainbow fish are fighting. What can I do? So I doubt. Here, one sec. Here, one sec. Sorry, I was just answering a message. So I guess with the rainbow fish, they're not a fish that's commonly going to fight. Like I've never seen rainbow fish fight. They're very docile fish, and they're definitely not fighting, in my opinion. I think what could happen is you probably have a male and a female, and what you'll see is the males spar, and they're not like fighting. They sparring might not be the right word, but they like shimmer for the females and try and attract them to somewhere to spawn. And it's probably just spawning behavior, in my opinion. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Should I still change the water if I have bristlenose fry? Definitely. You definitely should change the water if you have bristlenose fry, because those guys do not like any what's it called, ammonia in the water. That stuff's not good for them. How long should it take for angelfish to grow out to nickel size? So I find that angelfish take about 3 months to get to sellable size. So I think nickel size is probably the smallest size, so probably like 2.5 months. And then the best size to sell them at is 3 months. Thanks, Charles, for the super stick. I really do appreciate that as well. What is your favorite rainbow fish, and is there a species on your wish list? My favorite rainbow fish is probably Bozeman. I like the threadfin ones as well. I haven't seen those in person though. So maybe then I'd get some of them if I saw those, but yeah. How did you learn so much about the hobby? I don't think that I know a lot yet. And what are you lacking in? Before you said you don't have many clubs or mates with you. So I have lots of mates, but not mates to keep fish. But I guess all the stuff I've learned has just been through YouTube. I've learned tons of stuff. I've watched thousands of videos on YouTube. I think making videos has helped me learn a lot. And doing things hands-on, like I think part of the things that's helped me a lot with fish keeping is I've got this weird desire to like be I don't know, like it's like a perfectionism thing. Like I really want to breed fish perfectly and get as many of them up to sellable size and sell those as possible. And I think once you do that, you'll do anything to try and get that to happen. So you'll do all the hard treatments and things like that. Like you'll learn everything you need to get to that stage, and you'll watch everything and you'll take any advice you get. And I think if you're obsessed with something, then it becomes really easy to learn a lot about it and really quickly as well. So I'd say that that's probably the number one way, and doing things hands-on as well. That's definitely helped. I mean, like before I set up the fish room, I knew nothing like compared to what I know now. And I know nothing compared to what I think I'll know in 5 years' time or next year even. So yeah, I think sometimes I like look back at old videos and I just kind of cringe on watching some of the videos that I made, because I feel like I didn't know anything, and I'm sure that I'm going to cringe about watching videos that I make now as well. But yeah. Hey, congrats on pursuing a passion as a breeder and making a business out of it. Thanks, Lucas. I have a male endlet and 2 female guppies. Can they breed, or is it troublesome? So they can breed. I wouldn't recommend it because you don't really want to breed hybrids, but they definitely can breed. Quick question. Do I need to separate a breeding pair of rams, or can I leave them in the community tank? So I definitely would not breed rams in a community tank, because the first thing about breeding rams in a community tank is that once they get the fry or the eggs, they're just going to get eaten by the other fish in the community tank. So what I would do is separate them out, and then I'd let the rams try and breed themselves. And here's actually a good story I can talk about. This is something I wanted to talk about that I just remembered. But I'd try and leave those rams in there to take care of their own fry. I found that to be the easiest way to breed rams. I know that my ram breeding video says to take them out and raise them yourself, but if you can leave the parents in with the eggs, it's just so much easier. Like you're going to save yourself so many headaches. Yeah, sorry, my camera's doing weird stuff again. So that's my advice, is to take them out. But what I wanted to talk about, this is kind of cool, is so my first, like part of my challenge with breeding rams has been that rams are one of those fish that when they're first born, their fry have been so tricky to take care of. And part of the challenge is because I'm not at the fish room all the time, like because my fish room's not at home, I have to drive there and things like that. That makes it a little bit more difficult to take care of baby fish. And I haven't been there to feed them. Or if I get there late one morning, they're all dead. So I came up with a new plan, and my plan is just to leave all the fry in with the parents and let the parents figure it out. And that's actually been working really well. So I've had one pair be successful. I've only been trialing this for a couple of weeks. So to have one pair do it already is kind of amazing. I've got a few pairs that are ready to breed, and I've been setting up different breeding tanks, and I'll be making an update video so you guys can see that. But I was in there the other day and I was actually stripping the fry from this pair that, they were getting to the stage where they're going to start breeding again, and the babies were going to, they'll be fine if I took them out. So I was stripping the fry, and I started taking the fry out, and I did it this really stupid way, and it took me so long. And I was there for an extra couple of hours at night, and it started getting really late, and I didn't have another option. I just had to keep going. And this is one of those weird moments where I was like super grateful. Like, I don't know what you call this kind of moment, but like, because of my accident and being an idiot, I was forced to stay there longer, and then I realized something that was super important. So as I was sitting in the fish room and I was taking all these fry out, which is absolutely insanely tedious, so I won't do it that way again. The lights are all on timers, and they started turning off one by one. And it finally got to the tanks where I was working on, and the lights weren't turning off. And I was wondering why. Like, I was like, why aren't the lights turning off? And I noticed that the timer wasn't switched on, so the lights had been on permanently. And this is the only 2 tanks where I've had successful breeding. So my Discus was successful and the rams were successful. And my theory is that because the lights didn't go off, I noticed all the other tanks are pitch black and the fish go to sleep straight away. So if they're with their fry, they're just going to lose them overnight because they can't see them. And they'll wake up in the morning and they'll either forget that they had babies, or they'll just eat them because, I don't know, they're confused, or they'll lose them all. And by having the lights on, the fish don't go to sleep, or I think the fish can sleep with the lights on, but they're not like forced to go to sleep. And, I think one pair would be resting and the other one's going to take care of the fry, and they're going to take shifts, and they don't stop taking care of the fry for a period of time. And I was super lucky to learn that, because that meant that I just needed to keep all the lights on in all the tanks, like not all the tanks, but all the breeding tanks at least. So I also had a nightlight, and I noticed the nightlight was giving them no light. So yeah, I was just super lucky to have seen that. And I was really happy that I saw that. Thanks, Backroom Aquarist, sorry, for the donation. But yeah, I was so happy to have that happen. And yeah, I definitely think I will be making more videos on the rams in the future, like at least like informational ones on my experiences with them, because a lot of the info, like that I just talked about, a lot of people won't talk about it, and that could be happening for you forever, and you'd be wondering, why am I not having success? And it's because of that. That's another thing I noticed is I kept the lights on for my Discus tank when I had my first successful batch, and for some reason I turned them off again. And I didn't have success until I turned them back on. So the lights on at night is super important for fish that take care of their babies. It's so crucial, in my opinion. Do I need to leave on a light for my breeding epistos so they don't lose their fry? I definitely would. I think that it's definitely recommended. Like, you can like dim the light, but you want the fish, like, you want to be able to see everything in that tank. Like, I'd really like to know whether, I think that I can, like, I don't know how I'll do any like research on this, but I'd like to do some more experiments on whether fish even need the lights off. I think a big reason why fish have the lights on is because, why we don't leave our lights on 24/7 is because of the plants and because of the algae. But if you're not doing those and you're just breeding, I think that it's actually not that big of an issue for the fish if the lights are on 24/7. My theory is that I kind of just like lost my train of thought a little bit. I think what I'm trying to say is that, like, yes, you get more algae and stuff like that in the tank, but here's what I was going to say. I feel like the fish have this weird ability to tell the time without like having the light be a factor. I feel like they can tell what time of the day it is, because even though the lights are on, the fish still behave the same throughout the day. So like when I first get in there in the morning, they're all the same, and they all breed still at the same time, even if I leave the lights on. So I feel like it's not actually that big of a deal. So as long as it's not like in your room and keeping you up at night, and as long as you're not trying to grow like plants and you don't care about wiping algae off the tank, You can dim the light at night, like just as long as you can see it. You're not gonna grow any algae. But yeah, I think that it's actually not that big of a deal at all. Thanks, Michael's Home Cooking, for the $5 sticker. I appreciate that. Sorry. One sec. Sorry, everyone. I'm just replying to someone. I'm talking to the guy at the fish store. He's got some really cool super red angels, super red koi angels, and I was having a look and seeing whether I might get them, but they look a little bit too expensive. No, okay, I'm definitely not going to get them. Sorry about that. I was just talking to him, and he was showing me these two videos of the. I can just show you guys, I guess, on the. So this is for everyone who's wondering. I'll turn the volume down. So you know, like Dean from Dean's Fish Room, everyone would know that. So here's the video. It's really low quality, but you guys might be able to see there's some juvenile super red koi angels there, so you can see them there. Yeah, there's $250 each here from a breeder. I think it's just ridiculous. There's no way. That's like, because what's going to happen is surely someone will just start breeding them, and the thing is too, you'll need to get like 6 to 8 of them to make sure you have mixed sexes. I think it's just not worth it. What do you guys think? I wonder if I can do a poll. I think I tried to do this last time. We can't do a poll, but I mean, for $250 each is way better things that you could get. Yeah. No way. But here's like, apparently this is probably edited. That's apparently the parent. Would you do it? I don't know. I guess that's a good topic. Would you guys consider that? Like $250 for super red angels to try and breed those for profit? I feel like you couldn't sell them. Even though you paid $250 each, I feel like you'd get your first batches. They probably would have a ton of them that aren't super reds, or you get them and then they die because they're super genetically weak. Like I'd buy them for maybe $50, but not $250. If you have a ton of cash, then it's worth it. Yeah, unfortunately I don't. Otherwise it'd be in another fish room. But yeah, better fish around. Sarah Roper saying yes. No, that's way too much. Yeah, exactly. It would take 10 years to turn a profit if possible. I feel like you could pay $250 for like, I don't know. I feel like I could only pay that for like maybe some awesome discus or yeah, I don't know. But I guess another thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly as well is these future discus. I was looking at these really cool discus I want to get. Yeah, I'm trying to find an image of them. These ones are called white tigers. I had them in one of my tour videos of what's it called? A discus place that I got my current pair of discus, and I'll pop up the thing now. Show Chrome tab. These are the ones that I want to get eventually. I don't know if I'll be able to get these next time. They're super expensive. But how cool are these? These are the white tiger discus. And I think they're similar to like a tiger turquoise, except they don't have that turquoise and they're like this white color. But in person, like, I mean, these photos aren't really doing them enough justice. They mostly look like these discus here. Yeah, they were really, really cool. And when I first saw them, I decided that I'd probably get them eventually and try and breed those. But what do you guys think about those? I think they're pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know how much they are though. I think they're probably a couple $100 each. Would be ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I saw some other good questions. So another quick question: what age do bristlenose get bristles? I think at about they start developing them pretty quickly, like 7 to 8 months, and then they have like a full beard at about a year and a couple of months. Normally, it's like 14 months. There was also one other thing that I saw. Um, how long does it take for an angelfish to mature fully so you can sex them? So angelfish are very hard to sex unless you've bred them. But to get them to breeding age, it takes about 9 months, I'd say. And that's when they're old enough. So if you buy them, they're probably about 3 months old. And then it'll take you another 6 months before they start breeding properly. Hey, sorry to be desperate. When is your store going to be open again, basically? I think maybe, I don't know, a couple of weeks' time. If everyone can wait a couple of weeks, then I probably will open the store again. And it's not that I'm out of stock, it's just that I've been taking a break. One thing I wanted to quickly talk about as well, I've got a lot of people saying, Discus, talking about Discus being hard to care for. And something that I've noticed is Discus are definitely not hard to care for, like in the care things. Like if you wanted to have a planted aquarium with Discus and keep them, then it'd be quite simple. I think a lot of people get turned away by like breeding Discus is tricky because you have to be so you have to maintain the aquarium so much and you have to really give them a lot of attention. But caring for Discus is quite simple. And I think the most important thing for caring for Discus is just making sure you have good water for them. So like a pH of less than 7 and relatively soft water. And as long as you know how to treat with worming medications and you know how to treat for flukes if that's a problem, they're very easy to take care of. It's going to be pretty hard to kill big Discus. So I would recommend if you're going to breed Discus to get pretty decently sized ones. I'd spend a little bit more money rather than getting little ones because the little ones are going to be more fragile. And they'll set you up properly. But I know I've said it before, Discus are hard to take care of. They're not hard to take care of. What I mean is they're hard to breed and care for that way, because they just try and kill themselves, like the babies at least. So yeah. How long until you expand and build a fish room in the USA and have 2 locations? Probably a very long time. I feel like that's probably not even likely just because it'll be so tricky. I've talked about that before, but it's something I'd like to do. I'd love to be able to sell fish in the US, but like I said, I guess the passion for me isn't selling fish, it's just breeding them. And I can breed fish anywhere. So if I'm breeding them here in Australia, then that's good enough for me. I think maybe at some point I could export fish if it ever gets that big. And I could do it that way, but I don't know. It's a very long time away. In my country, they are worth $10,000 a breeding pair. I think that must be a different currency because I don't feel like they could be worth that much. Cheap Discus to start with. Yes. So a problem that I've had with my Discus is that my recent pair, my recent batch that I've finished selling them now, part of the problem was they are a flora pair, and when they're young, they don't look that great. And a lot of people who are getting into Discus buy common things they buy melons, they buy yellow ones, and they buy blue diamonds and stuff like that. And they don't really know what a flora is. It's too fancy. And Discus, if you want to get the turnover and sell a lot of them easily without having to sell them privately to people who know, or sell really expensive Discus cheap, you need the common blue cheap Discus stuff. So yeah, that's something that I think I'm going to get into is like when I'm talking about getting Discus, I want to get maybe those white tigers just because they're really cool. I don't know how I'll be able to get like even source those anymore, but maybe something like that. But I also just want to get, turquoise, not turquoise, blue diamonds and red melons and some yellow ones maybe. And maybe get rid of the pairs I've got currently and just try out with the new pairs like I was talking about. But yeah. Infusoria vid coming soon. Yeah, I should make that video. I haven't made it yet. I feel like I'm kind of waiting for the perfect time to do it, which is never for a video. The next video that's coming out, I don't know if you guys are going to be interested. I've already recorded it and started editing it. But it's called the best automatic water change system. And I just basically go on a rundown of how my automatic water change system works and how I do one if I was you, and some things that I've learned from having my system, because my system's not perfect, but I think a lot of people can learn from it. Are there any other vids that anyone would like to see as well? Like I constantly go through different ideas for the videos that I want to make, and I was wondering if there's any topics that anyone's like especially after, because this is the best time to ask. I've got a list here of things that I wanted to make. I was thinking about doing a shrimp like update on some of the shrimp that I have. And I was thinking about doing like a Corey tour. And then I was also going to make some other videos. Like I had this really cool idea, and I feel like this could be like a really hit and miss idea, but I wanted to make this like DIY tower of like, those pull out drawers, like the ones you get from like a storage place like that. And they just have the pull out drawers. I wanted to see if I could somehow make like a pull out drawer where the bottom thing is like a sump, and then it pumps water up to the top and it runs down through the drawers. And the idea is you just put cherry shrimp in it and you breed cherry shrimp in this really small square meter space for really, really cheap. And it kind of just turns into like a mini money factory, if that makes sense. And you can breed like red ones and yellow ones and things like that on the different levels. I don't know if it would work. I think it'd be a little bit of effort, but I think that it could be a really cool idea. I want to make something like that. A pistogram breeding video. Yeah, I definitely need to do that. Yeah. How do you set water changes on your fry rack tank? So I just clean the bottom tank, and that's basically it. I just clean the 4 foot. So the 4 foot gets the water change. Money factory can be snails. Definitely. You could do snails as well. Snails are actually something that a lot of people don't think about. You can sell snails on eBay and stuff like that for really like cheap, but you sell a lot of them, and it can be a really good way. Sorry. Yeah, it seems like everyone wants to see maybe some Episto videos. I think like I would like to do some more better videos maybe. Part of it is that I spend a long time taking care of the fish. So nowadays it's like I can only make like 1 video a week or 2 videos a week sometimes. So yeah. But I think I might wrap up the stream in maybe like 15 minutes or so, because I do have to get back to editing my original video. But this was really fun. Hopping on and having a chat to everyone. It's really nice to get on here when I do eventually find time to get on here. But yeah. Who did you build relationships with wholesalers, or how did you build relationships with wholesalers? So I guess the best way is just ask the shop who they buy their fish from. And like, I feel like if you have a good shop, they're just going to tell you who they buy the fish from, and you can try and pursue the contact that way. If your shop's not going to tell you for some reason, then I wouldn't sell fish to that shop. That seems like a weird business. Try and figure it out. Like just ask around, like ask questions. Nothing ever comes bad from asking questions. What do I do outside of aquariums? So I do a few things. I feel like I have way too many interests and hobbies. Um, One thing that I do is, well, this is a weird thing because like my hobby is basically fish keeping, but um, I play touch rugby. So I just do that to stay fit, and it's good fun. And then I also play golf, and I'm playing golf this afternoon, so that should be fun. That'll be nice and relaxing. And yeah, I feel like those are the main things. I don't know. I think that golf and playing sport and hanging out with friends is the main things that I do. I'm trying to think. I don't do anything crazy. I go in and out of doing other random hobbies. Like for a bit, I made music on just like on the computer. I made like some songs during quarantine. That was fun. The songs aren't very good, so I'm not going to show you guys that. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that I do outside. I do a lot of fish keeping though, so that occupies a lot of my time. And yeah. Oh, I watch footy and stuff like that as well. Watch NRL and stuff like that. And yeah, I go for the Broncos, sadly. How long did it take you to grow that mustache? A long time. It took me like 2 months. So are you going to sell epistogrammas on my website? I will. I'll sell epistos probably once I get them to breed again. So probably won't be for like 5 months. Yeah. I do watch AFL as well, Lockie. Yeah, I go for the Lions. I don't have a Spotify. Everyone wants to see it now. My songs aren't public. If I ever make it a song worth sharing, I'll share it. But my songs aren't good. So one day. I'm not a musical person. So I'm not even sure why I said it. Does anyone here play golf as well? Like, is that a common hobby for a lot of the people who do fish keeping? I wonder. I feel like a lot of people who do fish keeping also keep like plants and stuff, which I'm also interested in. I feel like I'm interested in a lot of things, but I never like fully commit to like one thing. Yeah, or like commit to like certain things. I do just a lot of everything. How are the L134s coming along? They're going along good. I hopefully can breed them soon, like within the next 6 months. I'm going to put a lot of effort into it. I've been talking with Malik from Aqua Malik. He's a Pleco guy on YouTube. He's probably the best Pleco guy in my opinion. We hopped on FaceTime a couple of nights ago with his friend, Dr. Thomas, and we were just discussing some of the things that I can change about my setups to hopefully get some of my expensive Plecos to breed. And yeah, there's a few things that we're going to work on. So hopefully getting the water down to a really low TDS. So I'll have to do that through RO water and triggering them through temperature drops and pH drops. So we'll see how that goes. Part of the challenge is I can't access a lot of the foods they use. So like they personally don't really like Repashy, and I use a lot of Repashy. And it seems like that's the best food available here in Australia. They use a lot of Dr. Basilia's food. And I'd love to get my hands on that stuff, but I don't know if I'll be able to. So I'm still looking at different Pleco foods, and if anyone has any advice or things that they use, yeah, I mean, I'd appreciate it if you dropped it down below, but that's what they use. And we've been talking about it. So yeah. By the way, I can't like answer. It's like it's not my choice. I can't answer some questions that some people ask. So like a lot of people ask questions like who do I sell to and stuff like that. And I really try to avoid talking about that because I've said like before, like the main shops I sell stuff to, but I don't talk about anything else besides that. Really, like I feel like it's not something that I'm too comfortable talking about. Like there's a few people asking it, and it's not to keep it from you guys. It's just like more for them. I know that they'll have a ton of people then asking them to sell them guppies and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I might wrap up the stream in like 5 minutes. So I'll try and answer a couple more questions. But yeah, sorry if I missed your questions, guys. There's so many. How big do albino koi get? They get like 4 inches. I'd say 3 to 4 inches. Do a video with your LFS and do a tour with them. That would be cool. I feel like I probably won't do videos like that because I like doing more private tours, like of people's setups at home. But I feel like the local fish store tours, I feel like they're kind of overdone a little bit. Like a lot of people have videos on different local fish store tours. And also, I'm not the kind of guy who wants to walk around the local fish store with a camera. I feel like it'd be too weird. So yeah. Is it hard to breed betters? Definitely not. It's super easy to breed betters once you figure it out. What is the difference in raising German ram fry versus taking the eggs out? I mean, raising German ram fry, taking the eggs out versus leaving them with the parents. So, in my opinion, it's a world of difference. Like, sorry, my nose is just itchy. I've now that I've done it, I would never, ever, ever try to raise them myself again. The amount of work, like, it's just so unnecessary. Like, the thing with German ram fry is they're like super, super sensitive at that size. The other thing too is they need to be fed constantly. So unless you're home 24/7, you're not going to be able to take care of them easily. And yeah, and the other thing too is you need to feed them really tiny foods, which a lot of people can't do themselves like easily. Like everyone can hatch baby brine shrimp. That's like the best thing to do. And because they don't eat baby brine shrimp at the start, it's too hard. So leaving them in with the parents honestly made it so much easier. Like to take care of them, I needed to feed them once a day. Like I could leave them for a weekend probably and they'd still be okay for that first couple of days because they go around the tank and they eat infusoria and the parents help them to find the food and the parents teach them to swim. I think that's like there really isn't another option anymore. Like I definitely wouldn't recommend taking them out anymore. And that's something that's interesting with YouTube is, you know, as I'm learning stuff, I'm always changing my message. And I know I've talked about it in previous videos that it's probably the best way to do it is take them out. But I feel like leaving them in there is 100% the best thing to do. Like they'll take care of them for the first couple of days, and then you can feed baby brine shrimp, and they'll eat the baby brine shrimp once they're big enough. And it was just so much easier. I'm so glad I started doing that. Who do you recommend for tanks? Buying some from a store or getting them built? Looking for 2 foot. Ideally, want to get a few around the Brisbane region, ideally. So, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I can drop their name. I did get my tanks from Aquariums R Us. So they're okay. There's heaps of other guys. If you just ask on some of the Facebook groups, some people will recommend you some tank builders, but I'd get them from someone who builds them. You can also build them yourself if you want to try that. But I've never done that, so yeah. Better drip system versus rack, what you need to clean. Better drip system every day of the week. Guaranteed. That's going to make it so much easier. I honestly think I might wrap it up here. I'm getting a little bit tired now, and yeah. Aren't you smart enough to do it? I think you're talking about the Rams, and I don't know, maybe I'm not, but I feel like I was saying before, the challenge is that I'm not at the fish room to do it. So because I'm not constantly there, it's pretty hard to take care of the ram fry, and it's easier just to let the parents do it, and they're always going to be more successful than you. They're always going to have a way better success rate than you ever could. So thanks everyone for joining the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little bit, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little bit spontaneous, but yeah, thank you everyone. And I think I'll just see you guys in the next one. I'm not too sure when it'll be. But thanks for all the positivity and all the questions. And sorry if I missed one. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.